Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're stepping into the high-stakes, chaotic, and honestly, endlessly fascinating world of community mood tracking in the year 2026. If you're managing a brand or steering a digital community right now, you already know the internet moves at the literal speed of light. But here's the million-dollar question. How do you actually know what your community is feeling before it's too late? Well, that's exactly why we're exploring Forum Sentiment AI, basically the ultimate tool for decoding internet culture. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. Imagine you plug your community's chat logs into a traditional legacy sentiment analysis tool. Suddenly, red lights are flashing all over your dashboard. The system is screaming that everyone is furious and making violent threats just because they keep spamming the skull emoji. But here's the massive problem. Legacy AI simply doesn't get the joke. It literally reads the skull as a threat of death, completely missing the fact that in modern internet slang, the skull emoji just means I'm laughing extremely hard. So because of one misunderstood emoji, a brand could accidentally trigger a completely unnecessary PR crisis. Crazy, right? So what this boils down to is a massive irony problem. When a user on a forum posts that some chaotic event is absolute cinema, a legacy corporate AI tries to literally count the keywords. It gets confused, scores it as neutral, or even worse, thinks someone is actually talking about a movie theater. It fails completely. But Forum Sentiment AI, it reads the meta context. It instantly tags absolute cinema as hype and high engagement. Traditional models fail on roughly 73% of modern forum slang because, let's face it, the internet runs on irony and sarcasm, not literal dictionary definitions. Basically, if your AI can't detect a shitpost, your data is garbage.
Moving on to Section 1, the evolution of sentiment tracking. Let's take a quick look back. In the 2010 keyword dark ages, moderators literally just used basic regex scripts to ban specific words. Simple, right? But fast forward to 2020 and everything changed. The pandemic locked everyone inside, which led to this massive migration to platforms like Discord and Reddit, ultimately sparking the meme stock boom. Suddenly, a single subreddit thread could literally tank a hedge fund. Brands woke up and realized they desperately needed to understand these subcultures just to survive. But their old corporate tools were completely useless against the new slang. Which brings us to 2026. We have fully entered the era of Forum Sentiment AI, using lightweight, incredibly fast models that are specifically trained on internet culture datasets.
Next up, Section 2, Decoding the Vibe, How Forum AI Works.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the dynamic slang embedding matrix. We all know language on the internet has a half-life of, about 3 weeks? A legacy AI relies on a static dictionary, but modern AI continuously updates its normal weights. For example, a legacy AI reads the word based as totally neutral, while Forum AI knows it actually means highly positive respect. Or take copium. That'll just cause a flat-out error in an old system, but Forum AI correctly identifies it as delusional optimism or emotional volatility. And getting ratioed? Legacy AI thinks you're doing math. Forum AI knows it's a brutal community rejection.
And let's be honest, simple positive and negative tags are just boring. Frankly, they're pretty unhelpful in the real world. Modern AI fixes this with multidimensional sentiment scoring. Instead of binary tags, it scores communities across very specific, multi-axis vibes. Are people feeling hype before a big game launch? Is there a toxic seethe brewing in the comments? Are they posting wholesome, unironic support, relying on copium to defend a bad update, or just shitposting because they're bored and generating high volume with zero meaning? This specific approach gives you a hyper-accurate, truly actionable read on a community.
Which leads us to arguably the most valuable feature of this entire technology, detecting the vibe shift. Now, a vibe shift is that exact, almost imperceptible moment a community goes from being mildly annoyed to fully mobilized for war. Detecting this shift is the absolute holy grail. It allows you to predict the exact moment a community is about to turn on a brand, catching it before it ever leaks out to mainstream social media and explodes into a full-blown PR nightmare. So let's walk through this high-stakes countdown of a PR crisis. At T-minus 24 hours, the spark happens. Say an out-of-touch developer update drops. Legacy AI sees it as neutral information, but Forum AI flags a massive 400% spike in disappointment memes. Bam. T-minus 12 hours, memification begins. Users are creating image macros mocking the CEO. By T-minus 6 hours, we hit mobilization. Discord servers are actively cross-posting links to review bombing sites, red alert. And at 0 hour, the brand's official posts get utterly ratioed into the shadow realm. The ultimate leading indicator to prevent all of this? Tracking slang velocity, essentially how fast a new meme is adopted. It spots that initial spark way before the explosion.
And this brilliantly illustrates Section 3. Platforms are different planets. You literally cannot use the exact same AI model for every platform. They are fundamentally different ecosystems. Let's look at the nuances here. On Reddit, the AI tracks subreddit drift by weighing the score of comments to gauge the true HiveMind consensus. Meanwhile, over on Discord, the wild west of real-time chat, emoji weighting vectors are crucial. A loud crying emoji in a gaming server means something is hilarious, right? But in a tech support server, it means a bug is completely ruining someone's day. On anonymous image boards, the AI uses what's called irony peeling to gather threat intelligence on coordinated harassment brewing in the trenches. And finally, in Web3 spaces, the AI tracks wallet sentiment correlation to actually predict token dumps based on how fast fear and doubt are spreading in the chats. That brings us to Section 4, Surviving Internet Culture.
Check out this staggering number, $2.4 million. Here's the story behind it. A major AAA game studio released a patch that nerfed a fan-favorite weapon. Legacy AI flagged the resulting complaints on Twitter as just standard run-of-the-mill gamer rage and completely ignored it. But their forum AI was tracking the official Discord and noticed a massive spike in the word boycott, which heavily correlated with links to a rival games page. They quickly realized this wasn't just rage, it was a coordinated churn event. By issuing an emergency hotfix for the weapon within 12 hours, they saved an estimated $2.4 million in player churn and lost microtransaction revenue. Absolutely incredible.
But having the data is one thing, you actually have to apply it correctly. Let's compare the cringe versus the cool. Back in 2024, a major fast food chain tracked an outdated keyword, bussin', thinking it meant high engagement. They built an entire multi-million-dollar ad campaign around it, completely missing that the internet had already moved on. They were memed relentlessly. It was a massive failure because they tracked keywords, not culture. On the flip side, the cool brands actually lean into the chaos. When their AI detects a shit-posting vibe, savvy community managers reply with culturally relevant, slightly unhinged memes. The community respects the brand because they actually speak the language natively.
Now, to be completely objective here, tracking forum sentiment comes with some heavy technical and ethical baggage. First, you've got the API scraper wars. Platforms are aggressively blocking unauthorized scrapers, so relying on gray market data can leave you flying blind during a crisis. Then there's the privacy paradox. Scraping private, invite-only discords without user consent? That is a fast track to getting your brand canceled. Finally, we have AI's hallucinations. If an AI is fine-tuned entirely on toxic message boards, it can literally start hallucinating biases and conspiracies. This is exactly why human-in-the-loop moderation is still absolutely required. At the end of the day, you still need a human to look at it and say, hey, it's just a harmless meme. So if you are ready to put this to work, here is an actionable, structured checklist to implement this tech securely without looking completely out of touch. Step 1, define your boundaries. Please, don't try to track the whole internet. Just pick the 3 forums that actually matter to your specific niche. Step 2, choose your tools, and make sure you prioritize official API partnerships. Step 3, fine-tune the prompt. You need to use specific form sentiment system prompts so the AI actually understands your unique community context. And step 4, set vibe shift alerts. Stop looking at boring daily averages. Set webhooks to ping you the second real-time Slang velocity spikes.
Looking ahead to 2027 and beyond, this technology is evolving so rapidly. Very soon, we'll be relying on predictive vibe modeling. The AI won't just tell you a vibe shift is currently happening, it's going to predict an 87% chance of backlash before you even hit send on an announcement. We're also seeing a massive shift toward audio and video sentiment to analyze tone and micro-expressions in Gen Alpha's short-form video comments, like on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. And over in Web3, decentralized reputation protocols are emerging, meaning your internet vibe score will literally follow you universally across different communities. To really summarize the absolute necessity of contextual AI on the modern digital battlefield, I want to read this really powerful quote from Sarah Jenkins, the head of digital anthropology at Web3 Insights. She says, and I quote, "If your social listening tool doesn't understand the difference between a ratio and a mathematical equation, you are essentially paying for a very expensive random number generator. Firm sentiment AI is the only way to survive the irony-poisoned internet of 2026. She really hit the nail on the head there. Well, we've covered a tremendous amount of ground in this explainer today, from the evolution out of the keyword dark ages all the way to dynamic slang embeddings that are literally protecting millions of dollars in community revenue. But as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final provocative question to really contemplate. The internet is chaotic, it's deeply layered, and it is always awake. The community is always talking.
but do you actually speak their language? Think carefully about your own digital survival strategy. Until next time, keep learning and keep decoding the vibes.